ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Caveman Sports. Let's get after it, baby. We're still here. College football is still here, baby. Still rolling. Predictions still going. Today, episode, hey, we're rocking with the Big Ten, dog. Couple games tonight from the Big Ten, so we had to rock them out. Today's Thursday, uh, August 28th. Ton of football on tonight. We got some big matchups. You got South Florida, Boise State, huge game. Group of five game, playoff game for sure. Then you get Cincinnati, Nebraska. Then you get some of the smaller schools going at it. But then, of course, you got like your ding dong matchups like Big Ten versus FCS. But there's a ton of football tonight. I think there's like 10 games, which is pretty unheard of for opening week in college football. Friday night, they like to throw in a bunch, but Thursday night, not so much. But let's get after it. Starting in last place and 18th in the Big Ten, I'm going to go with Purdue. A lot of people are probably not going to like it, but that's okay. A lot of people are going to say I'm rage baiting. I don't want to rage bait. I want to be proven right from my knowledge of ball. Just what I think and what I see and what I know is what I go with. I don't rage bait. I think that's stupid. I know a ton of people do it for views, but I want to do it the right way. I want to do it out of knowledge. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's fine. People get proven wrong every day. Even people who are billionaires, millionaires, scientists, smartest people in the world, some of them get proven wrong. It is what it is. But I'm going Purdue. Big reason why. Jeff Brom is not there anymore. He's in Louisville. Great coach. Barry Odom is there. He's looking to change the way of the Boilermakers. I think Barry Odom is just not a very good coach, especially in bigger programs. Yes, he did well at UNLV. Horrible conference the Mount West is, so it's very hard not to succeed there. But Barry Odom did not do well at Missouri. Second, Eli Drinkwitz gets at Missouri. They take off. Coincidence? I think not. So I just think Barry Odom is just not a very good coach. I think he is a great defensive coordinator, and he can have good defenses, but you also have to get a good offense. Loved Barry Odom at his time at Memphis. We had one of the best defenses out there. And then the second he left, our defense was horrendous for years upon years. But unfortunately for Purdue, this isn't basketball, and Zach Edey is not there to save them. I genuinely think they're going to compete in a lot of games because of Barry Odom is a decent coach, but I just don't think they can pull a lot of games out. And it's not a favorable schedule for them with turnover and with a new coach. Start the year, they at least get Ball State and Southern Illinois. So they start the year 2-0. So, you know what? Purdue fans, it might be happy starts, might be bad starts because they might barely squeak those out and people could be concerned. Well, unfortunately, I don't think they can win another game. The Big Ten, they have 9 conference games, so they only have 3 out of conference. They play USC. Notre Dame is their other out of conference schedule game. Lose. They lose to Illinois. They lose to Minnesota. So 3 really good teams. Northwestern, surprisingly, it is on the road, and that is why I give them the advantage. They get Rutgers, Michigan, Ohio State, Washington, which is a sneaky team, dark horse playoff team, and then Indiana with Kurt, the Aura Farm, Signetti. I just don't. That's not a good schedule for a new coach, unfortunately. So give me them to go 2-10. Number 17, I'm going to go Maryland. The Terrapins, they're losing Little Tua, Tagovailoa. I can't remember his first name. I actually saw him balling in an arena football the other day. That was actually kind of cool. They start the year well. They get a favorable non-conference games. They play FAU, they play Northern Illinois, and they play Towson. Then all of a sudden, I'm seeing another winless conference schedule for these guys, unfortunately. Because again, it's a really good conference now, and then you can get a good schedule or you can get a really bad one. And they do not get a fair one at all. They get Wisconsin, Washington, Nebraska, UCLA, Indiana, Rutgers, Illinois, Michigan, and Michigan State. Unfortunately, all the games that they, have maybe the edge and a chance to win, they're all on the road. So it immediately kind of takes that favor and edge away. So unfortunately for them, they kind of get screwed by the schedule as well. 16th, we're going Northwestern. They're struggling to stick out. now with this conference realignment. They had their couple years going there where they like upset a couple teams and were near like the top, middle of the way towards the top. But now with adding the likes of Washington, USC, UCLA, I mean Nebraska's been there, but they're a little newer. Oregon, I mean you got all those teams. I don't see them ever really kind of getting there. I know they're building a new stadium, and they shouldn't. The new smaller stadium on literally the lake, and it's like in the rocks, is honestly the coolest stadium ever. They should just build from there and build up and expand. It is the coolest location ever. And I could be wrong. That could be where it is. I know their training facility is sick, and it's also on the lake. So I don't know. They maybe have a chance. I think they got to dump some NIL money in, and they got to hit on a coach, and hopefully keep that coach as well. Start the year they head to New Orleans and take on the Green Wave of Tulane. They eat a little too many beignets and they take the loss down to the Green Wave. Bounce back, they play Western Illinois. Didn't even know they had a football team. They take the win there, but then they immediately start conference. They play Oregon and get crushed. Drop a closer one to UCLA. Then we get a non-conference win. We beat Louisiana Monroe. Then we go to conference back, get absolutely hammered by Penn State, host Purdue, and we get a conference win finally. We get one under the belt for the Wildcats of Northwestern. Then it's rough. They're looking okay, favorable, maybe make a bowl game, who knows? But they lose out. They lose to Nebraska, USC, Michigan, USC, and Minnesota. So for them, another pretty disappointing year. Maybe a coach fire. Who knows? No one knows. 15 Wisconsin Badgers, the Honey Badgers. That's all I'm gonna call them. It was a super famous video for a little bit with the Honey Badger, and that's what I'm gonna call them. And that's what Tyrann Mathieu got called at that time. Luke Fickell and the Honey Badgers are trying to get back into a Big Ten staple, but again, I just don't think it's gonna happen. I think they're getting screwed by this alignment too. They were that team that always had a ton of talent, and then all of a sudden, you would think they easily go 11-1, 10-2, maybe even undefeated with some of these just insane running backs and defenses they had, and they still found a way to go like 9-3 or worse. In my opinion, call it a hot take. In my opinion, one of the more overrated programs out there in history. I just think the Big Ten used to be not the greatest conference, and they just beat all the small teams and they could never really beat the big ones. Stadium, dope. Love to jump around in the fourth quarter. What's it? Camp Randall, I think, is what their stadium's called. Insanely cool fourth quarter thing with the jump around. But man, I think sometimes you got to stop it when you're getting crushed. Because man, when Oregon started doing the jump around when they were crushing them, that was kind of embarrassing. But for Wisconsin, they play one of the hardest schedules in football. Definitely a top 10, in my opinion, should be strength of schedule. Start the season, they beat Miami, Ohio, and Middle Tennessee State. So luckily they get some 2 non-conference doozies. Then all of a sudden they have to head to Tuscaloosa and take on the Alabama Roll Tide. They're going to get absolutely crushed. They're going to get sent back home, and then they got to start conference play, which is not going to be fun. But they started on a high note. They beat Maryland, so they start conference play. Hey, they might think they're back. Fans, I mean, at this point that puts them at 3-1. With one humiliating loss, but hey, it's looking good. Maybe make a bowl game this year. But no, they're going to turn around. They're going to lose out. They lose to Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, Indiana, Illinois, and Minnesota. Horrible schedule. It starts so good. They get Maryland, and then all of a sudden they get all of the top dogs. I mean, all of them. Minnesota, I would not say is a top dog. But they're PJ Fleck, that team is never fun to play. Always an insanely good defense. But I believe that game is on the road. So the one favorable game they have outside of the game they win is on the road. So they're screwed. Man, 14, we get the UCLA Bruins. Deshaun Foster, they're looking to gain some traction with his alma mater. He's looking to really bounce it back, especially with getting Nico from the Vols and that weird situation going on. But he loses Eric Bieniemy. He loses him to go back to the NFL as a running backs coach, which is kind of embarrassing. especially to the Bears of all teams. Why would you want to go be a running back coach there? I know Ben Johnson's there, but you can't even get the offensive coordinator position. Like, man, he was offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Super Bowl winning Chiefs, and now he's a running backs coach for Chicago. That was just that's a weird situation by enemy. I don't know if he was trying to do a favor for a friend. I have no idea. But in my opinion, Nico to me. And what's funny is, sorry, we'll continue. What's funny is UCLA originally had Joey Aguilar that headed to Tennessee, but then Nico headed to UCLA, and they promised him no doubt that he would be the starter. So then Joey Aguilar transferred to Tennessee, where Nico just left. So pretty fun, interesting thing there. Nico proved that he really isn't an elite quarterback. He is very inconsistent. And Ohio State, that game was just ugly. They walked in there thinking it was their trap. They were going to take over the trap. The fans thought they took over the trap, and they got murdered. I know Ohio State won the title, but dude, they just came off a loss to their rival who had one of their worst years in it seemed like what 6, 7, 8 years, and they got humiliated by Michigan. Everyone was kind of thinking, "Whoa, Ohio State, what are they going to do?" And they just put it on and never let go. UCLA turns around, or not? Sorry, not turns around. They win. I think they win their opener against Utah. Again, everyone's seen my predictions. I think Utah is not going to be very good, so I think UCLA can really pull that game. It's in UCLA, so I don't see why the Bruins can't win. Turn around, they head to Vegas, and I think they're going to drop one to the UNLV Rebels. I was extremely confident before week 0. Week 0, it really turned an eye for me for UNLV. They really got to get it together. That defense has to get it together hard. I think they found their quarterback. I think it's funny. A 5-star Orgi, Derek. Is it Origi or Orgi? I don't know, man. It's I swear to God, it's just ORGI. He just proves he's just like he's a runner. That's all he is. Just play the Caldara kid. He was incredible, and honestly, he ran the ball better than Orgi did. So honestly, there's no reason Orgi. You might as well transfer if you can get on another team and play this year. So the offense is going to be fine, but what's the defense going to do? So I would say it's more of a coin toss now, but I still think UNLV could upset them because I don't know how UNLV. Um, I just think Dan Mullen is a much better coach than Deshaun Foster. I really don't know why Deshaun Foster even got a shot with UCLA. Is UCLA just that down bad now that no one wants to coach there? Like this guy had like no experience in big level. Like never really his name was never really out there for coordinators that I've seen, and I pay attention to a lot of little things like that, and all of a sudden he just pops up out of nowhere. He might have been in the NFL, and that's probably why I don't really pay attention to those coaches up there, and that could be it. But again, he's proved he's not the best coach. I mean, you would think the talent you can get out there, you could win games, and he's not proving it. He's gonna have to prove it to Dan Mullen, a really good coach. They destroy New Mexico, and then they win their conference opener against Northwestern. Drop the next 2 games against Penn State and Michigan State. Gain some traction. They beat Maryland, so they're getting a decent schedule in conference so far. They get that traction, with that California tie, Los Angeles tie. It gets the Diddy oil all over it, and then all of a sudden it gets real slippery. They fall down and they get hit hard, and Diddy, who knows what did what. They lose out to Indiana, Nebraska, Ohio State, Washington, and USC. In my opinion, the Bruins just need to make a head coaching change. There's going to be several teams that need them this year, and they need to go spend money and get one. I don't know who they're going to get. I generally think they need to go get like the likes of like a Jamie Chadwell. If Tulane has an incredible year, they need to go get Sumrall. Guy from South Florida. If they end up having a really good year, I think he would be a really good fit there. There's a lot out there, and I think they need to make a change if they have another really bad year. I just don't think Deshaun Foster's cut for college ball. I don't know. That's just my opinion, though. Again, this is my opinion. This is my podcast. It is what it is. 13, go Michigan State. We got Jonathan Smith there. He's looking to build up some momentum. It's either his first or second year. I think it's his second year. I don't know. I've honestly, I don't know. Uh, you know, Again, before the alignment, this team was relevant. They were always there. They went to the playoff once, maybe twice, or just missed out one of the times with Connor Cook. So let's see. But unfortunately for them, there's no Connor Cook, there's no Kirk Cousins there anymore to help them, and it's an extremely tough conference. So it could be a very long year. They start the year beating Western Michigan, Boston College, and Youngstown State. Then all of a sudden, these boys head over to the sunny skies of Hollywood and take on the Trojans. They can't keep up in the shootout. USC is going to win the game in a big shootout. Then the boys head to Lincoln, lose a brutal, complete opposite physical game to the Cornhuskers. They host the Bruins of UCLA and then actually pull out a close win. Maybe a slight upset to some people, but to me, no, it's a fairly even game. But then they drop their next 5 games. They lose to Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Penn State, and Iowa. And they actually finished the year on a high note, beating Maryland. So, finish the year on a positive note, but again, missed a bowl game. That quarterback is going to be, he was really inconsistent last year. He's going to be the Achilles heel for them. He's either going to bring them up and get multiple upsets and make a move and make a bowl, or he's going to keep them right back down. I don't know. And I think the coach, he's going to get better. I don't mind that hire at all, but we shall see. Number 12, the beautiful Rutger Scarlet Knights. Man, I love me some Greg Schiano. But they're still trying to climb that ladder, and honestly, they were until this realignment. The realignments killed them as well. These poor teams that were climbing ladders and making changes. This conference alignment they're bringing in the big dogs from the Pac-12. That's the problem. They weren't bringing in the small little kitty cats. They brought in the big dogs with a lot of bark, and they're getting crushed. They get a very weak non-conference schedule, fortunately. So they start the year off hot. They beat Ohio, then they get the Miami of Ohio, and they beat North Folk State. But then all of a sudden they go on a little skid after starting 3-0. They lose to Iowa, Minnesota, Washington, and Oregon. They stop it. They go on the road, get another win against the Purdue Boilermakers. They bounce back and they head to Illinois and Champaign, and unfortunately they dropped that one in a very close game, and very well could upset the Illinois, who are they're preseason top 25. Bounce back, they beat the Terrapins, but then all of a sudden they drop 2 in a row. They get the defending champion Buckeyes and the Nittany Lions to finish the year. It's a really tough conference schedule for them, so I'm hoping they don't fire Greg, but they really might, and it'll be very sad and an end of era in Rutgers. Number 11, we got Minnesota. The Gophers and PJ Fleck head into another year together. Can they keep rowing the boat, or is the ship finally going to sink for PJ? And I think it really is kind of leaning towards the Titanic. They start the year strong. They beat Buffalo and Northwestern State. Then they head to Berkeley and take on the Golden Bears of Cal. A little business trip, work trip. It's a snooze fest. It's going to be an extremely low-scoring game, but Minnesota takes care of business. Then Rutgers comes into town, and the Gophers steal all the pizza sauce from the Jersey boys. And the Gophers win a close one, though. Then they take the brutal trip to Columbus and get destroyed by Ohio State. They beat the Boilermakers in pretty easy fashion. Again, they're not going to score many points anymore, but they're not going to allow people to score many points, except for maybe Ohio State. Then the Cornhuskers come into town. The Gophers cause problems early. Again, they don't let them score, but they can't score any as well. So they unfortunately lose that game in the second half. Then the boys head to Iowa City and drop another one to the Hawkeyes. They bounce back and they beat the Sparties of Michigan State. Travel out west to Eugene. Ooh, can't keep up again. Again, another good game. Their defense is really good and keeps them in games, but the offense just can't score points. So then when it gets tired, the offenses figure it out. The coaches figure it out. Oregon's going to come from not behind, but they're going to eventually seal the game and win. And the Gophers actually finish the year strong. The last 2 games, they get Northwestern and Wisconsin, and I think they win both of those games for sure. Number 10, we got the Iowa Hawkeyes. Could be a very hot take to a lot. A lot of people, excuse me. A lot of people are hyping up this quarterback hard. I feel like this happened every single year for them. I remember when Cade McNamara transferred there and he was showing signs, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, I was it." That defense, that running game, they finally have a quarterback to like continue it, and it just fell apart. And I feel like they're kind of creeping down each year instead of going up like they were. I feel like they're kind of slowly with this new alignment too. I feel like it's hurting them, and they're just not what they were. Man, but they have their legendary coach of Kirk Ferentz heading into a 27th year together. They want to take that leap too. They want to make the college football playoff because now they can take maybe 3 or 4 teams from this conference that's super deep. I don't know, but again, we've seen the trick and pony from Iowa before, and they just never seem to get it done. They start the year crushing U Albany, University of Albany. I don't know. It just says it on there. They head to Ames and take on the Cyclones in the massive rivalry game against their arch rival. I just think, already just to see the ponies kind of taking a spin, the Cyclones spin them again a little more and push them back out of town. And I think Rocco Beck's just a little too much for them. Again, Iowa can't score, but Iowa State can just enough. It'll be a low scoring game for sure, but Iowa State's going to score enough. And they're going to beat their rivals and really solidify themselves in that college football playoff spot. Hawkeyes take their anger out on UMass, going to absolutely crush them. Then all of a sudden they head to Jersey and take on the Rutgers, and they win a tight battle. Again, they just can't score enough points, but their defense is carrying them. Head back home and they take on the Indiana Hoosiers for homecoming. Hoosiers come in and they take over the trap. They win. They spoil homecoming. Hey, it's going to be brutal. Sig Ara, he's just too much, man. It's too much for the Hawkeyes to handle, and they embarrass him. Then they head to Camp Randall and take it out on the Badgers of Wisconsin. They jump around in the fourth quarter. Then we turn around, host a huge game against Penn State. Usually they play spoiler, and anytime they wear all black, they usually can do it. And Penn State usually is good for an upset, but this time I just don't think they can, and they lose a nail biter. I think Penn State comes from behind. Again, they just score enough points to beat Iowa, who can't score enough. Turn around, host the Gophers, and apparently this one is the blackout game. So against the Gophers, they don't lose blackout games, and this one is 100% solidified. Watch out, Gophers! Give me the Hawkeyes by a million. Turn around, they lose heartbreakers to Oregon and USC. Then they survive a close one, really close one against the Spartans of Michigan State at home. Head to Nebraska, and they play spoiler against the Cornhuskers. I think they're going to upset them, unfortunately, and they're going to. Wait. Hold on. They head to Nebraska. Sorry. They're going to head to Nebraska to try to play spoiler against the Cornhuskers. Well, their party gets spoiled, and they drop another game against Cornhuskers, and it's on Black Friday. And I believe Nebraska is wearing kind of all black. It's all black and a white helmet with black stripes. So kind of all black. Not really. Nebraska, figure it out. Number 9, USC Trojans. Again, another one of those historic colleges that I believe is a little too overhyped. They had that run, a couple years stretch with Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush that was incredible. But outside of that, in the 2000 centuries, it's been so, honestly. Like, they haven't played for another national title. They haven't made the playoff. I don't even think they made a BCS national championship outside of the Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart years. So again, for what these people claim they are, extremely overrated. They're looking to kind of Lincoln Riley is really looking to get them there. He proved a lot at Oklahoma, and they made a playoff. And I think he's a good coach, man. But I just don't know what they're doing out there, and they can't get it together. He took Caleb Williams out there with them. They did well, but they just got upset quite a bit. And that was in the Pac-12. Now you're moving to a loaded Big Ten. I just don't know if it goes very well. And again, Lincoln is now on a huge hot seat. But I don't know what they can go get compared to him, honestly, that can do better at USC. I think USC, I don't know what's going on. I think they're overrated. I think a lot of these younger players know that, and they don't get the buzz that they used to have, and they can't get those players anymore. They get some, but they don't get them all. They start the year curb stomping Missouri State and Georgia Southern. They start conference play and take care of business against Purdue and Michigan State. So we're starting the year off 4-0. Then all of a sudden they head to Champaign and they take on the Fighting Illini. They lose a battle with Illinois, and they're kind of whoa. They're like kind of, and I don't think it's gonna be close. I think Illinois' defense is gonna really stun them. Luke Altmaier is gonna put up some points, and it might be a several score game. Then all of a sudden the Wolverines come into California, into sunny Los Angeles. They come into the Coliseum. They're looking for glory. Their defense literally just falls apart, um, and they get beat by the Wolverines. Funny enough, Hugh Jackman might be there watching, being a Wolverine. They head to South Bend, Indiana, to play an all-time classic game against the Fighting Irish. The defense again, they're just letting swimmers in. They're getting through that Trojan condom with a little too much ease. It's looking a little too much. Jeremiah Love might break a single game record rushing touchdown and yards in this game, but we'll see. Um, then all of a sudden the Trojans get lucky. It's bye week time. They get a little break. They try to get it together, but they turn around and they head to Lincoln. These big city boys, they head into the middle of nowhere in Nebraska. They get a little lost in the stadium. They're trying to find their way. They don't know what to do. They thought maybe this was just a fake movie scene. They thought maybe they were just pulling up to a stadium and it was just, a fake movie set and they rock with it. But no, all of a sudden they get lost in the cornfields. Cornhuskers jump out early. They're still trying to look for their way on the field. They don't really know where they are. Trojans regain control a little bit in the second half, try to make a comeback, and unfortunately it's just a little too much and they can't get it back just in time. But they regain control, come back, they beat Northwestern, they beat Iowa. They then head to Eugene to face the Flying Ducks of Oregon and Dan Lanning. Oregon's offense simply just too much, and the Ducks win by several scores. They host their neighbors, the UCLA Bruins, in a comfortable rival game. It's not really much of one anymore. Give me USC by 1,000,000. Number 8, let's give it to the boys of Illinois. I know what they're going to say. Zach, cavemen. They're top 25 team. How are they number 8? They have an easy schedule. You know what? Easy schedule, smeezy schedule. I just think I don't trust teams like this. I don't. I'm sorry. I know they played well last year. Again, not a favorable schedule. I know they beat South Carolina, but South Carolina didn't want to be there. They didn't. So I think they possibly upset several teams this year. But again, it is a stacked conference. So we're gonna take a look. Let's go into it. Brett Bielema. Hey, they look to keep the swagger going in Champaign. They really looked to make a difference and make Illinois a desired place to play. Even though it's I've driven out there and it's getting there is not favorable. It's not fun. Again, one of the easiest schedules according to a lot of people. We'll see what they have. We'll see what the boys have to say though. They start the year beating the brakes off Western Illinois, but then they head to Durham and take on a much improved Duke team. A lot of people rate them as the number one transfer class, and they have a lot of people returning on top of that. So I think Duke's going to be a sneaky team, and we see it in ACC rankings. I think they're going to be good. And I think the Blue Devils play spoiler and upset them early and kick them out of the top 25. Boys the Illinois head back home, hammer the Broncos of Western Michigan. No Corey Davis still there to help them survive the slaughter. Then the Illinois, they head to Bloomington, Indiana, and take on the Hoosiers. Potential college game day game, maybe after that loss, probably not, but we shall see. I think the Hoosiers defense or Hoosiers offense is just too much for Illinois' defense, and I think Illinois' offense. I think Luke Altmaier is pretty overrated in my opinion, and I think the Hoosiers just walk away with a win. I just think it's too much. Then the Trojans come into town. Boys and girls. The defense prevails in this one, and they conquer the Trojans, the mighty Trojans. They get fooled by a horse again. They head to Purdue, steamroll the Boilermakers, Fighting Illinois heist one of the biggest games in probably their school history. They host the Ohio State Buckeyes, and they're looking to take care of business. And a game, again, this could host game day, and I very well think it might because they've never had a game at Illinois in Champaign ever. And it'll be probably a ranked matchup since Illinois hasn't lost another game and they're a preseason top 25 team. So game day could very well be there. Well, the Buckeyes, they closed that $1 million deal and take care of business in Champaign, Illinois, baby. I just don't think. I just think that Ohio State team is way, way better than them, and I just think, and it's not like they're not going to go in there knowing. It's like some of those games are trap games. It's like they're nothing. No, they're a top 25 team. You're there to make a statement, especially if it's game day. Oh man, they're there to make a statement. Illinois get a bye week. They get some rest, turn things around. They head to Seattle, Washington, play in one of the cooler environments in college football. The Huskies in that beautiful live mascot, man. Oh, that Husky's so beautiful, man. Such a beautiful dog. They take care of the fight in Illinois, sorry. Then the Rutgers comes to town. Illinois take care of them. Fighting out Illinois, finish strong. They beat Maryland, Wisconsin, and Northwestern. So again, conference was favorable, but there were several teams like Washington beats them, Ohio State beats them, and then Duke. But again, it's 2 losses. I think there's going to be several teams with 2 losses in conference. So number 7, we have Nebraska. Give me Matt Rhule. Give me Dylan Raiola going to his second year together. Matt Rhule's third year. He's a good college coach, man. He turned Temple around. He turned Baylor around. He tried his way in the NFL. That was just, I think guys are designed to not jump to college to NFL. I think they can jump NFL to college, but I don't think they can do the other way around. It never works, it seems like. Nick Saban's the greatest college coach to ever exist, and he couldn't do it. If he couldn't do it, I'm sorry, nobody can do it. You can go be a coordinator, but not a head coach. I'm going to see, I think, a massive improvement from them this year. Matt Rhule and Dylan get his second year in, learns from mistakes, gets more comfortable with the offense. They start the year out Thursday night tonight against the Cincinnati Bearcats late 9 p.m. at Arrowhead Stadium. That's going to be cool, man. Going to be cool. I think they're going to win this one. Both teams are going to show a little bit of rust, so it might be a little ugly, but I think Nebraska wins. Win the next 2 games against Akron and Houston Christian. Cornhuskers then host a huge game against the Michigan Wolverines. Wolverines defense, I think, is just going to be a little too much for Dylan. And then Bryce Underwood, much better quarterback than what they had. I don't know if he's going to be the chosen one and lead Michigan to greatness, but he's definitely going to be 1,000 times better than what they had last year. And that's been proven with Orgy struggling against an FCS team at UNLV. It's going to be a close game, though. Then they turn around, host another school from Michigan again, and against the Spartans. They pull that one out. They bounce around, get a good win against Michigan State. Then they head to Maryland, take on the mighty Terrapins. They put the Turtles on their back early. They spin them around. They can't seem to get off their back in time. Give me the Huskers comfortably. Then they head to Minnesota to take on the Gophers. The Gophers seem to cause some issues to good working people like they do in real life. But the people unite and they bounce back. The Cornhuskers, the farm, they settle in, take over the game, come back on the road for a huge momentum win. It's huge. Then they host the lads from Chicago and the Northwestern Wildcats. They take care of the Wildcats and send them back to maybe get some Portillo's, bring it back, little sausage, little beef sandwich. Yes, sir. Then they host the mighty USC Trojans. Again, we talked about it. This is a big game for Lincoln Riley and the Trojans, but unfortunately they get lost. Big city boys, they get lost. They go down a little too early, trying to look for the stadium still. Can't turn it around. Huskers then head to the Big City Lights to take on UCLA. They win a dogfight against Nico and the Bruins. Much better game than people think. Huskers on top of the world. They maybe could be traveling into a top 15 matchup. Maybe. The world should know that they are there. Nebraska's there, and they should be appreciated. But they head to Pennsylvania. They head to Happy Valley to take on the Penn State Nittany Lions. This has a chance to beat College Game Day vibes as well. If it is a top 15 matchup, it has a chance. But unfortunately, there's several good matchups that week, but could be the only top 15 matchup. Cornhuskers show up hungry, man, but the lights proved to be a little too much in his second year and a huge whiteout game tough place to play. Extremely good game, but the Nittany Lions play a little spoiler to the Huskers. Huskers turn around. They host the Iowa Hawkeyes in a crucial matchup between the two. Huskers finish strong. They win a classic to the Hawkeyes, and then they just barely missed the playoffs. And they very could. They win one more game, and they very could make the playoffs. I hope so, man. I'm rooting for Matt Rule and Nebraska. Nebraska deserves it. They're just one of those teams that deserves it. Even when they were horrible for all those years after the late 80s and 90s when they were good, they sell out that huge stadium just year in, year out. And there's so much hope, and they deserve it. Number 6, the Indiana Ooh, yes. Kurt Sig, the Aura Farm man himself. They look to keep the train rolling and maybe make another college football playoff. Who knows? He has the most aura, let's be real. Most aura in college football. That coach he's one of a kind. Um, if he has another 10 win or better season with the Hoosiers, expect him to leave for a huge position opening. But at the same time, again, we were talking about UCLA. Do you leave that situation in Indiana, go to a train wreck of UCLA? Yeah, the weather's beautiful, but do you? Like, do you just want to nerf yourself? I know you've proven yourself at James Madison, and now you proved yourself at Indiana, but do you leave for that? I think it's got to be a really good position in a different conference. I think definitely you go to a different conference for sure. Um, they start the year rolling. They beat Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State. I think Fernando Mendoza, he's getting some confidence in those games before they roll into conference. First big test is Illinois. Mendoza starts off slow, but they get that comeback win against the Fighting Illini. Then they head on the road to face the Hawkeyes. They escape this one as well. Everyone's hating on Indiana, but dude, Kurt's a good coach, man. Indiana went to the national title, or Notre Dame went to the national title last year. So hate all you want for them losing in South Bend, but that Notre Dame team was incredible, honestly. Um, then all of a sudden they head to Autzen Stadium. They take on the Oregon Mighty Ducks. They let one slip away. They let the Ducks come back and get a victory. They take that fire after the loss and they win 3 in a row. They beat Michigan State, UCLA, and Maryland. Then all of a sudden they take on their biggest test of the year and they have to travel to Penn State and Happy Valley as well. They fail the test and they struggle against the Nittany Lions. They finish the season strong, taking care of Wisconsin and Purdue. It's going to be a crazy year. Buckled in, ladies and gentlemen. I think there's going to be a ton of 10-2 teams this year from majority conferences. I would say they just squeeze out as well because the strength of schedule is not very good, but who knows? Number 5, we get the Oregon Mighty Ducks. Dan Lanning, they're looking to get that ring, man. I know their logo is a 0, and everyone hates on them for it, but man, they're so consistent, and I think people hate on them because they are so consistent, and they're right there every year. They just can't get over that hump. It's eventually going to happen, man. This guy's a really good coach. That Ohio State, that was brutal. That was so tough to watch. I knew they would probably lose, but that was embarrassing. So let's just hope they don't run into them again. Or no, Ohio State got Tennessee first. I think that big win against Tennessee just sparked a fire that couldn't be set out, man. So who knows? Let's watch out. But we all know Oregon has the best unis in the game. Bigger conference. They're looking for glory. They're looking for glory, looking to bounce back from that Rose Bowl playoff game. They start the year strong. They beat Montana State. I think they're going to smoke Oklahoma State. And then they get Northwestern. I think they smoke them. Then they play their in-rival state, or their in-state rivals, Oregon State, pretty early. I wish that would still be the end of the season game, but with the Pac-12 being weird and just 2 teams getting to play each other, if either one of them make the playoff, it is stupid. It is rigged. You can say the same for Notre Dame being independent, but they make their out of conference honestly pretty tough compared to those 2 teams. They pull that one out. Then all of a sudden they head to Happy Valley and they take on the Nittany Lions in another whiteout death or Happy Valley game. Except for it's not at night. I think it's already rumored it's going to be a 3:30 CBS game. But unfortunately they lose. New quarterback Dante Moore. All the games have been pretty easy so far. And then you're going to go play one of the best defenses in football in a crazy environment. I just don't think they can pull it out. But that could very well be a college game day game. I think it's Georgia Bama that week, but man, this is going to be a probably top 5, top 6 matchup compared to the other one. Maybe won't be. I don't see how you don't do this one. You go to the SEC nonstop because I mean, it's just kind of what it is. It's great matchups, but the Big Ten is rivaling them that with this year, and I think Penn State's such a cool place for game day. I don't know any other games that might be there because I don't think they get Ohio State there. I could be wrong. I don't know. We'll see with coming up, but give me the Nittany Lions in that game. Then they turn around. They host the Hoosiers of Indiana. They get a big win there. Dante Moore learns from mistakes. They pull out a close one. Mighty Ducks get steaming. They win 6 in a row. They beat the Hoosiers. And then they beat Rutgers, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, and USC. Then they head to Seattle, Washington to take on the Huskies in a Purple Rain print type of Cannon event. Oh, the Washington all purple, man. Such a cool place to play. Purple everywhere. Huskies are looking to go for the upset and get that swagger back. And again, the cutest dang mascot there possibly can be. The Huskies pull off the upset and upset Oregon. Shock the world. Another 10-2 team, ladies and gentlemen. Keep count. And then we got number 4, the Washington Huskies. Jedd Fisch. Hey, he's looking to get it rolling back. They hadn't, they didn't do too well last year. Still made a bowl game. But you lost Michael Penix, and then you lost your 2 best receivers, new coach. But second season, they're looking to get it back on track. This Damon Williams kid, I think he looks good, man. He kind of took over that job compared to like Will Rogers. That was just a weird fit. They get some confidence in the young lad by winning the first 2 games comfortably against Colorado State and UC Davis. They then test the new QB heading to Pullman to take on rival Washington State. They survive the rivalry / trap game. Then they host the Ohio State Buckeyes and hopefully another Purple Rain game. They give the Buckeyes all they got but fall short. They win the next 2 games against Maryland and Rutgers. They then head to Ann Arbor to really prove to the world they're back. Unfortunately, the Big House is a hard place to play. The Huskies fall short in a big game. They come back home to Seattle, take on the Fighting Illini, take care of business against the boys from Champaign. Then they head to Camp Randall, where they maybe jump around and take on Wisconsin, take down the Badgers. They win their next 2 games against Purdue and UCLA. They now welcome the Oregon Ducks into town. Hopefully turns into another Purple Rain Thursday night game. Thursday night type color rush game. Hopefully, maybe Oregon wears all green and they wear all purple. Oh, it'd be so nice. Again, we talked about it. The Huskies pulled the upset. And again, another 10-2 team with honestly a really tough conference schedule overall. So maybe make it, maybe just miss. Number 3, Michigan. I know what you're thinking. This guy is crazy. He has Michigan, who just had a down season, finishing third in a really good Big Ten with a true freshman quarterback. That had them finishing third. Yes, I might be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but sometimes schedule matters. These dudes have a very favorable conference schedule. They start off with New Mexico to get the QB settled, wipe the floor with Mr. Clean. With that confidence, they head into Norman, Oklahoma to take on the Sooners in uncharted territory for them. Well, call them Christopher Columbus because they're settled in and they're going to take out the Sooners and conquer Oklahoma. I think John Mateer is a little more overrated than people think, and Oklahoma's a little overhyped. Bryce Underwood wins the battle of the 2 QBs. Then they go and head to Nebraska and survive the upset. Host the Honey Badgers of Wisconsin and take care of business in homecoming. They then head to sunny California to take on the Trojans at USC. Well, the Trojan defense is about effective as a 10-year-old Trojan condom. So unfortunately, it's just not going to work out. They bust right through. Wolverines party in Hollywood. Hugh Jackman is hopefully there in outfit and celebrating. Side note, they play the Washington Huskies. Best mascot there is. Again, we're talking about it every time. If the game was in Seattle, I would definitely take the Huskies, but it's not. It's in the Big House. So give me the Wolverines. It's time. It's time. Bruce Buffer, beautiful. The Wolverines head to East Lansing to take on their little brother rival. The Spartans put up a solid fight, but I think give me the Wolverines, no doubt. Turn around and host the Purdue Boilermakers. The team that always is good for an upset, but it's not going to happen. Sorry. Well, not this time. Wolverines come in. They just keep gliding down the train tracks like the Boilermakers are, like the Coors Light train with LL Cool J, with how cold it'll be in November. The Wolverines then head to Chicago to take on the Northwestern Wildcats in a very cool stadium, by the way. We already talked about it. I hope they stay there, but they probably won't. But give them to me by a million. Then all of a sudden we get Maryland, crush them. Still one of the coolest helmets ever. That like double helmet with the state flag. That's the only helmet they should ever wear, honestly. Unless they wear that, they lose. Even then, they lose. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Here we go. It is the game. They host the arch nemesis Ohio State Buckeyes, poised to be one of the all-time great matchups. With them, maybe both being in the top five. Maybe it'll be super close. Well, Michigan, I'm sorry, your time's over of beating them and owning them. I think the Buckeyes are going to pull through this year, and they're going to take care of business in the big house too as well. Sorry, boys. Number 2, we got the Penn State Nittany Lions. James Franklin, Drew Aller, and the Penn State Nittany Lions look to finally get that job done. We say year in and year out, they're finally going to do it. But again, they never do. They start the year off just absolutely beating the brakes off Nevada, FIU, and Villanova. They then host the Oregon Ducks in a night game. Again, they're fighting Georgia Bama in a game day game. I think they should get it for sure over Bama Georgia. It's a top 5 matchup more than likely, or definitely a better ranked matchup than those two. Ducks are a shot out of the air. Wings are clipped. Lions go up, pick up their kill. They even opened duck season early in Pennsylvania just for this game, just so they could kill the Ducks. Nittany Lions then head to sunny California to take on the Bruins. They come from behind to win this game. The Lions then win the next 2 against Northwestern and surviving the trap game against Iowa on the road. They then head to Columbus to take on the defending champs. They lose another heartbreaker. Or wait, sorry, hold on. Oh, they then head to Columbus to take on. Yeah, okay, so they do have to take on Ohio State. Oh, unfortunately, lose a heartbreaker to that. They just never get up over the hump against them. They've beat them a couple times, but every time they beat them is when they have a bad year. When they have a good year, they always lose to Ohio State. Then they host a very good Indiana team, win a nail biter, keeping their dream alive, and actually a big resume win game. Head to East Lansing, take on the Spartans, and they survive the upstate just barely. Um, then they turn around and host the Cornhuskers of Nebraska. They're getting some favorable games at home. It could have been an ugly year for them if they got several road games. Dylan Raiola looking to finally make a stamp on college football. They come up just short. Nittany Lions survive. Then the boys head to Jersey, take on Rutgers and Greg Schiano, mighty Scarlet Knights. Rutgers just doesn't have enough juice to survive. Nittany Lions make another conference title game, and even if they lose it, more than likely make the playoff. Number 1, we all know who, the Ohio State University. Ryan Day and the Buckeyes, they're just looking to keep it rolling. They're coming into town as defending champs. They still have one of the best receiver in football in Jeremiah Smith. And then Carnell Tate is going to have a breakout year too to take off some slack from him. Running back room, I'm not too sure about. They do lose Travion Henderson and the kid from Ole Miss. What I think is Judd or something. I can't remember. Well, they start the year hosting the Texas Longhorns to start the year. Both teams lose their starting quarterback to the draft, but I'm going to take the one who's already been on the team and gotten snaps. So give me Arch Manning and the Texas Longhorns in an absolute classic. Fox Big Noon kickoff, week 1. It's going to be insane, and it's going to start a year of just beautiful, beautiful football. Then all of a sudden they take, it's actually a revenge game from last year's semifinal, I believe, is when they played. But all of a sudden, Ohio State turns around, the curb stop Grambling and Ohio University play a very interesting matchup traveling to Seattle to take on the Huskies of Washington. They run out of Washington, stealing that game super late. It's going to be a really good game, and I think they just barely squeak out. I think Washington's still trying to get their feet a little wet with their quarterback, but I think Washington, again, think they're going to be really good. And again, the cutest mascot in the game. Then they turn around, curb stop the Gophers in Minnesota, head down to Champaign, take on the fight in Illinois. Everyone is super high. Again, a lot of people are saying dark horse to make the playoff. Not to me. Give me the Buckeyes by 20. They then head to Wisconsin, take on the Honey Badgers, kill them. They host Penn State. Again, they're thinking it's going to be a day game, either the CBS 2:30 game or the big Fox noon kickoff game, which is super lame. They tame the Lions. and win a great game. They absolutely go smoke Purdue and UCLA. Nico just absolutely can't prove it again against them, and just sorry, brother, it ain't gonna happen. Then they play the Rutgers and avoid an upset from the Scarlet Knights. Then all of a sudden we head into the game at the Big House in Ann Arbor, Michigan, taking on the rivals. Man, they're on like a 4-year losing streak, I believe, maybe 5 at this point. Ooh, boys and girls, it's over. It's over. It's over. Bryce Underwood, he throws a stinker. He goes through hell. The Ohio State Buckeyes, they end the streak. They will get the win. They make the conference title game, and with only one loss, they absolutely make the college football playoff and look to go back to back. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's the Big Ten. We only got a couple more left. We got the big dog in the SEC, and then we got the Mountain West as well. So appreciate you guys all tuning in. God bless you all. Hope we all drop a like, drop a follow. Follow us on TikTok. Follow and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify if you got it. But appreciate you all. Hope for all those of you who are tuning in. I appreciate you all. God bless you all. Love you. Have a great week. Hey, let's hang in tight, baby. We got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday football. Let's get it, baby.